And there you go. These are the reasons why you should or shouldn't pick a OnePlus 5T up. Wait, that didn't feel right. Can we back up a little bit? Despite promises of the 3T being a one-off T-series device, a year later, here we are, the OnePlus 5T is now in our hands. And judging by you guys' reaction on our videos, it seems like the new kid on the block has managed to become the talk of the town. So is it all talk and no walk, or should you get your hands on one of these? But before we answer those pressing questions, if this is your first time here, or if something's T-boned your memory, my name's Ash, and you're watching the OnePlus 5T get a C4E Tech review treatment. And yeah, before we start, in case you love what you see, do consider hitting that like button and smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you are excited and want more such awesome content, click on that bell icon to get notified every time we upload a new video. Let's now get started. So let's get right to it. What's new in the T? Not that one, we are talking about the OnePlus 5T here. A new taller screen that follows in the footsteps of flagships of 2017 and a brand new 18:9 aspect ratio, at least for OnePlus. It's the first time they've kitted out a device with a tall display, and I gotta say this 2160 by 1080 panel looks pretty darn good with punchy colors, excellent contrast, and yes, good viewing angles. I know the Pixel 2 XL has had many of you guys on edge, so I'm happy to report that OnePlus did a great job with the 6-inch panel on the 5T. After all the praises I've heaped on the newcomer, I can see existing OnePlus 5 owners in the corner turning a little green with envy, but let me get this one out there. Those of you guys with OnePlus 5s out there, you can rest easy. The screen isn't that big an improvement to warrant an upgrade, and the effective real estate once you turn off software keys on the OnePlus 5 is nearly identical to its taller brother. The larger display does mean the overall footprint is a bit more. The 5T is a tad taller, wider, and even thicker than its predecessor. You don't really feel it, but it is. Talking about feeling, the 5T does feel pretty sturdy, as OnePlus have stuck to their gun yet again for a metal back design. The front though looks sleek, and with that beautiful screen dominating the entire face of the phone, I can safely say that this is a good step up from the boxy design of its predecessor. Speaking of change, the 5T has swapped the fingerprint sensor to the back, and while I personally prefer a front-placed fingerprint scanner, I know a fair few people who like the back placement as well. I have no complaints about the scanner itself though. OnePlus stuck it in a convenient place unlike some other people, you know, Samsung. And it's faster and responsive as well. OnePlus has added a few new gestures to the scanner, and while they are accurate enough, I didn't find myself using them too often, as Oxygen OS has features like swipe to pull down the notification shade baked in. However, when it came to selfies, the fingerprint scanner doubling as a shutter key did help me nail some of these shots. Speaking of cameras, the OnePlus 5T sports a new camera setup. The primary camera is the same 16 megapixel f1.7 unit from the OnePlus 5, but the secondary camera now has a 20 megapixel IMX376K sensor with an f1.7 aperture. The weird thing here is that both of them have the same 27.22mm wide-angle lens, unlike on the OnePlus 5 where the setup had one wide-angle and one telephoto lens. Now, what does this mean for us, the end consumers? OnePlus claims that the new secondary camera helps capture better pictures under low light. But then a 20 megapixel sensor means the individual pixel size is smaller than on the 16 megapixel sensor, right? So how does that make low light performance better? Well, OnePlus has implemented something that they first did with the OnePlus 3T's front-facing camera, merging every 4 pixels into one to reduce noise and enhance clarity. Honestly, I wasn't sold on this claim, not one bit, but then after putting it to the test, I was quite surprised and pleasantly so. It did actually perform better under low light. Here's a side-by-side comparison with the OnePlus 5's primary 16 megapixel shooter. The difference is definitely noticeable. The images shot with the 5T are slightly brighter and sharper, so good job OnePlus. Now the next question that popped into my head on seeing this was, did it affect portrait mode shots? Now I was really curious to find the answer to it. Thankfully, this camera setup performed more or less similar to the one on the OnePlus 5. There are minute differences in quality of the image, but edge reduction and background blurring are done extremely well. Look at this image. It managed to keep the phone in focus. Now the shift from telephoto to wide angle means there is no 2x, well, OnePlus called it lossless, so 2x lossless zoom. Instead, with the 5T, OnePlus resorts to digital zoom. And they aren't calling it digital zoom, they're calling it clear zoom, which could be a little bit misleading, as in confusing at least. They claim they can get 2x zoomed images as crisp as with the OnePlus 5's telephoto camera using some software algorithm. Unfortunately, this is something I'd have to totally disagree with. Zooming action is carried out by the 16 megapixel camera. Basically, what the phone does is over-sharpen the zoomed in images. The results are okay for occasional use, maybe a bit of social media, but definitely not as good as those shot with the OnePlus 5's telephoto camera. Anyway, the regular images under good lighting conditions are also shot with the 16 megapixel primary shooter. Like I said, it's the same sensor as found on the OnePlus 5, so the quality too is obviously as good. Excellent detail levels and true to life colors. Look at this image, even those tiny particles inside the straws are visible. Macro shots like this did turn out great thanks to the bokeh due to the wide f1.7 aperture. The dynamic range, as expected, was excellent. The OnePlus 5T can shoot 4K videos at 30 frames per second. The stability is excellent thanks to EIS, but the horizontal movement isn't as stable. It's kind of jittery throughout and it might be an annoyance for some. The quality of the footage by itself is excellent though. It's very sharp with good detail levels and dynamic range. Talking about things that remain unchanged, the 16 megapixel front-facing camera still performs as well as it did on the OnePlus 5. The dynamic range on these selfies were quite good. They're also sharp with considerable amount of detail and good color reproduction. So if I were to sum it all up in one line, the 5T trades the 1.6x lossless zoom for better low light performance, with everything else remaining pretty much the same. So that said, the trade does kind of seem worth it. Does it seem worth it to you? Let me know in the comments below. So talking about things that remain the same, performance. Unsurprisingly, the 5T with its Snapdragon 835 managed to chew through everything we threw at it. Given that it shares the same internals as the OnePlus 5, our current Android speed test champion, we expected nothing less. The sensor list was also extensive, with every basic sensor being present and accounted for. The battery life managed to catch me a little off guard. In a good way, of course. I went in expecting marginally worse battery life courtesy that larger display, but in real life, the OnePlus 5T managed to last me through a full day of use with moderate to heavy usage, just like the OnePlus 5 did. So kudos to OnePlus on optimizing the battery life on this beast, managing to get similar battery life with a larger display and the same capacity battery. By the way, remember there is support for dash charge and you don't have to pay extra for it or anything. The dash charger is included in the box, just saying. On the software side of things, Oxygen OS makes a reappearance on the OnePlus 5T and it is as lean and fast as ever. Oxygen OS has a few new tricks up its sleeve as well. We've showcased a few of them in this dedicated video here. Check that one out for more info about the software experience on the 5T. My one qualm, the 5T still runs on Android 7.1.1 Nougat, and we've had assurance from OnePlus on Oreo coming really soon. And I've made my thoughts on that clear in the unboxing video. So I feel they should have probably launched it with Oreo, or since Oreo is already available on a bunch of phones, they should at least update it for two variants going forwards. Anyway, detailed thoughts in the unboxing video. You can check that out here. So what else? Call quality is excellent on the device, and the one downward firing speaker does a decent enough job with volume levels. And then we've got the price. It remains the same as the OnePlus 5 in India, $20 more in the US. And that brings us to a question: do you, or rather should you, want a OnePlus 5T? If you love what OnePlus brings to the table, if you like the OnePlus 5 and had your eye on it for a while, then the 5T is a refinement in almost every manner possible, so you should probably pull the trigger and get it now. If you've been looking for a phone in this segment and the only thing keeping you away from the OnePlus 5 was the lack of an 18:9 display, then again, the 5T is the way to go. If you do own a OnePlus 5 already, the 5T does not offer an after-warranty upgrade. Please hold on to the 5 till the OnePlus 6 or 60 or even the 7. Actually, if you already own any phone with a Snapdragon 835 or even 821 chip, you should probably wait. And there you go. These are the reasons why you should or shouldn't pick a OnePlus 5T up. So that's it for my 2 cents on the OnePlus 5T. Do you agree with what I'm about to say in this video? Are you disappointed as a OnePlus 5 buyer? Next time when OnePlus comes out with the OnePlus 6, will you buy it or just wait for the T variant? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Now, as good as a phone as the 5T is, I am a little disappointed personally that it comes just about 4 to 5 months after the OnePlus 5, meaning it should have gone into development almost as soon as the OnePlus 5 was released, if not sooner. I understand why OnePlus wants to come up with the T variant. They want to stay in the news a lot longer. I mean, if that's the case, I personally feel they should probably give the X series another shot. A smaller device, a secondary device, a little cheaper device might just be what the doctor ordered. It will not alienate the existing buyers either. So what do you think? Again, comments below, let me know. So that's it for this video. If you hated it, I'm pretty sure you know what to do. But if you did like it, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. And if you've already subscribed, hit that bell icon to make sure you get notified each time a new video goes live here on C4eTech. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, this here is Ash. You've been watching C4eTech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.